I'm doing this video on handling major life changes, or what you might consider to be a major life change, and how to remain calm with that and to be assured of yourself and the direction that you're going. That could be anything with money or career or relationship, lifestyle, um, thought patterns, belief systems, spirituality. There's a lot of things that can come up that would define a major life change. And I've been doing content on this channel on a number of topics, but one thing I've mentioned recently is the goal I have to get a camper van. And so that's been underway, and I mentioned it in other videos, but I was renting a family rental house up until yesterday, last month in February. And so last month was my last month there, and now I'm moved back in with family as of today, March 1st, and save a little bit of money. I want to get the down payment on a cargo van, convert it to a camper van, and then go back out and just have a camper van to travel and just take to campgrounds and just live that life. And so I was paying $1,200 a month in rent, and so if I can get that down to like a $300 or $400 van payment, and then that'll save $800 to $900 a month, and I can still work this tie-dye job that I'm doing the same amount of days if I want to and save all that money. I can work less days and take trips. So right now with this tie-dye job I sell for a nonprofit in San Diego, I work 5 to 6 days a week. And I'm independently contracted with my schedule. So I choose what days I want to work, how many I want to work. So if I'm doing 5 to 6 right now on my own choosing, and I was affording $1,200 in rent, what I could do is, now that I'm back home, and once I get my camper van, the cargo van, and convert it to a camper, I could work the same amount of days, save all that money. Or I could work, instead of 5 to 6, I could work 3 to 4, maybe take a small trip every week. So there's options with it. And I'm just excited to get that goal underway because, a lot of people, like I'm saying with this major life goal stuff, is they have this idea in their head of what winning is, or what proving themselves is, whether that's the college degree, then the career, the relationship, the marriage, the job, making the family proud that you're like living a certain track, or your friends proud, or your peers, or society, whatever that even means. When it comes to what you personally want out of life, when you have a major life change, which is inevitable, because life is nothing but change. Change is the only real constant. And so you have to be able to embrace that. And so one way that you get more comfortable about it is just acknowledge that there is change. And change isn't bad. And you have to embrace the fact that not everybody is ready for you to evolve or change or hit your goals, hit your dreams. Because even too, like you might be working on something for yourself, with money, your career, relationship, thought patterns, whatever. And just by you changing, the other person could be at a place of immaturity where they're only going to see it as themselves not changing, themselves not growing, themselves not evolving. So what you think is a negative reaction or a negative response to something you're doing, a lot of times it's the other person, it's something about them within themselves. It's not even something about you. And so going off this camper van idea that I have, when I'm in a house, I was renting a back house, 804 square feet, and it was cool, 1 bedroom, 1 bath by myself. And so I started renting that at 24, lived there for 2 years, 26 now, and people think like, getting to that age, oh, you're thinking about a family, thinking about marriage, thinking about kids, and they think going from like a house where you have no roommates, where you're by yourself, down to a camper van, a lot of people view that as a life downgrade, because they have it in their head like, the bike is better than walking, and then the car is better than the bike, and then the sports car is better than the regular car, right? And then the private jet's better than the sports car, and then the 2-story house is better than the 1-story house. The mansion's better than the 2-story house. Like, so people have this trajectory of like what they think winning in life is, or what the path is that you should be doing, and they project those opinions onto you. And so a lot of times it's like these people around you, based on the community and based on numbers, that get you thinking what you should or shouldn't be doing. It's like in a community where the majority of couples start young and maybe they get married, and you're the person that decides, no, I don't want to get married. I don't want the government necessarily involved in my love life and what I'm doing. And so you're like the sheep, the outcast, like the black sheep, the person that's doing something different, right? So if you're a guy, and you don't want to get married, and some people might have oh, well, like, do you not want to provide for women, or you can't get women, or you're gay, or you had one bad experience, or just like the typical stuff that you see with red pill or MGTOW or whatever the content is. And this is just what happens because people have their like mindset within a certain community, whether it's religious reasons or cultural reasons. And so when you're making these life changes based on you, you've got to know what's best for you. So for one, break it down to the core needs of what we're all doing as people, and not people from a certain religion or a race or a culture or a country, but just people in general. So we're animals. We need to survive, right? We have two eyes, a nose, mouth, ears, eat, go to the bathroom. So do other species, right? We are an animal. So understanding how you're providing fruits and vegetables and healthy food towards yourself and like a bed to sleep in, that stuff is very important. So sometimes it's good to break away from these groups. You have to in a lot of contexts, because these groups, family, friends, classmates, coworkers, you got to understand your survival in terms of like putting fruits and vegetables and nourishment into your body, having a healthy environment that's positive, a bed to sleep in. You've got to understand that stuff is important. So when you're making what you think is a major life change, it's going to face backlash because people have their own view of what the way to do things is. So like I'm saying, when people think like, oh, like the 2-story house is better than the 1-story house, the mansion's better than the 2-story house. Sometimes if I just say, hey, I was living in a house where I had no roommates and I had no wife, girlfriend, I could do it on my own being a bachelor. If I go down to a van, they think it's a life downgrade. A lot of times too, it's like, no, I'm going to save money. I don't have all this extra space with just things that could go wrong, like stove, sink, plumbing, electrical, bills, just all this paperwork coming in the mail, just just dust collecting on the floorboards, the ceiling fan, like there's like weeds growing outside. There's like all the stuff that piles up that you don't really think about. You think it's just a part of what we should be doing to level up, like to go to high school, go to college, get your degree, get into debt. But it's okay, you'll get a job and you'll pay off that debt, and then you'll get your mortgage, and then you'll get married, and that marriage is going to be totally happy because we know that's how marriage works, and you're just going to live this awesome life. Come to find out, that's not an awesome life for a lot of reasons. Aspects of that can be, depending on who you are and your circumstance, but this is what I'm saying. When you're making that major life change, you're going away from the group standard, right? And so sometimes if I get a camper van and I'm just living chill and I'm at a campground, I'm able to save money, work less, or work the same amount and save even more money. Someone who bought into that, oh, well, I'm going to be 26 and I'm going to put my down payment on a house because that's what winning is. And why would you go from a house to a van? Like, that's losing. So the person my age at 26, they buy this house, right, and they get this wife and they start a family, but then they find out, oh, I spent $1 million on this house, like $200,000 for this down payment. Now I have $800,000 to just pay off a mortgage. And now my relationship's falling apart because I got married at like 25 and now we're 30, and now things are different and the dynamics are different, and oh, my job laid me off because of the shutdown last year. Like, things that come up that you didn't think about. And so based on the other person's life choice, they have to put that on you, right? Because say like in, say 5 years ago, like 2016, two people are talking, right? And so one person has the generic idea of what winning is, the picket fence, the marriage, the mortgage and all that. And the other person says, no, I'm just going to go live in a van. Well, the person that is like getting the wife and the mortgage and all that, they're just like, well, that's just like such a life downgrade. But then when they get into this marriage and they have this college debt, the mortgage, the marriage that's already like on shaky ground within a year, they look at the person now in the van, and like that person, to them now, that was like the more freeing choice, to them. So they come up with these things like, oh, well, what's your backup plan if the car breaks down, or like, or like, it's like you can't just go to a mechanic, you know what I mean, or you can't just like fix it yourself if you know how to do that, or like it's just I don't know, like anything you could do, like they have the way that their life is going and they have to place that onto you. And so sometimes they come up with these weird things that they say that if you're not like on guard with just like basic truth about like everybody succeeding, everybody doing well, if you're not on guard with that, you're going to get discouraged by a lot of these people, and you're going to get talked down to, because whatever's going on in their life, they have to like reflect that to you. So like the marriage thing, it's like most people get married, so it's like you're the one who doesn't want to. Well, why should you have freedom? Or like, at first it's like, oh, you just had a bad experience, or you just can't get a woman, or you hate women, or whatever. But then when the person looks at it deeper, and maybe their marriage is in trouble, or now they realize that they're going through some legal stuff, they look at you and they're like envious of the choice you made, right? So they got to say all this stuff to you. It's like if you're musically talented, you play an instrument like guitar, drums, you sing, people tell you it's not a realistic career because they're jealous if you do it, right? Like, look at these people. They're going to like look at another band playing, right? Like the person telling you that, they've listened to music, right? Like they listen to their own artists and they support their own people that they think are good musicians, good bands. But because it's you, that now it's, oh, well, the chances of that happening are 1 in a million, because like, but they've listened to what, thousands and thousands of songs. They didn't tell that artist, that musician, that band, but they're telling you because they don't even have to know you that well. They could just pass you on the street one day, and because we met on the street that one day, anything that person does is what the other person doesn't do now, right? So they got to tell you it's unrealistic, because if you go make it realistic, they start looking at their life like, look what I didn't do. So, that's what you got to understand about these people, and just like the way that things work with a major life change. You've got to know that, for one, you're going to make decisions at various points in your life on whatever issues. So, understand your own 50-50, understand your own karma, understand how you're affecting people, your own give and take, and do your best to make good judgments. And yeah, you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to change the course of things. You call an audible and change up the plan, but that's okay. And you can't be afraid to make that major life change, because a lot of times the going way and the crowd is not really beneficial towards you. And you've got to understand how to really collect yourself and to be okay with trying things, not being afraid of failure. Like I'm saying with me, even just me selling tie-dye out here for a nonprofit, doing a sales job on commission. When I started doing this job, people were like, oh, commission, that's risky, and where's the benefits? But they don't understand, like, if I make good sales, I could pay for benefits or whatever they think would be benefits. I could pay for that out of pocket because I'm making good sales. And I mean, yeah, I guess it's risky. Anything's risky, though. Getting in the car is risky. Going on a plane is risky. Going on a boat is risky. Just walking down the street not knowing who you're going to interact with is risky. Going out at night is risky. Getting in a marriage is risky. Any relationship is risky. Having sex is risky. Like, I mean, the whole, like, the things that people say to you that just, they think, or they say they're trying to help, but sometimes it's just like them keeping you on like their level. Like you got to get some kind of degree. What's your fallback plan? It's like, this person might be like a good painter, and they could just like paint pictures. Like, that's a job, right? Like, you have paintings in your house. Like, the person saying that, it's like, oh, that's risky, that's an unrealistic career. That person has wall hangings in their house. They just bought it from like Walmart or something. Or like, it's just like they didn't support you, right? They didn't pay you. They didn't support you. The person did not support you, and then supported the stranger, supported the other person, supported the big business, and then told you that it was unrealistic to do the thing that they just supported. Okay, so when it comes to these big life changes or making a move, just relax, breathe a little bit, understand that, yes, it could work out in your favor or not, depending on how you view that, but don't be afraid to make the big move. It's necessary for personal growth. How's it going?
Great, yourself?